Hello there, I'm Alex Boon and this is the Daily Nature Journal. I'm going back into Holyford Woods today for our July instalment, and I've been walking past all the newly forming blackberries and speckled wood butterflies in the hedgerow. Let's get down there and see what's been going on over the last month. Remember that this is part of a series. This is the 7th video this year that I've made in my monthly trip through the changes to the ancient woodland. If you're interested in that, they're all listed in the description below. Here's some late flowering honeysuckle. We've had a very long dry spell over July and the ground is really dry and everything's just looking a bit parched. There's loads of this pineapple weed that's growing along the path edges, and the rosebay willow herb, which is also known as fireweed. It's growing quite tall now and starting to flower. In some places the flowers are finished and the pods are opening out. It's still attracting a lot of bees, and you can hear just the buzzing from among these plants. Up here the elderberries are starting to form and some of the blackberries are reddening. We're working towards harvest time in this part of the woods. The wood is now very peaceful, mature. Today we have a cloudy sky, but it's quite warm, and the beech and hazel trees are looking in resplendent leaf, not quite drying out towards autumn, still looking really good despite the dry weather. The woundwort has finished now and looking a little bit worse for wear. Some of the leaves have been infiltrated by leaf mining insects. The seeds are forming up on the flower stems. The foxgloves too have finished. We don't have so much of the great big statuesque bright pinks that we were having last month. Once you get away from that rosebay willow herb, which is in the rough areas of the wood, and down into the wood itself, really we're into the time of green and brown. That vibrant bright green that was down here among the trees is pretty much gone now. It's a maturer green. It's kind of got a brownishness to it. The ferns are much taller and the nettles are dying back. So I think we can honestly say that the character of the wood has changed once again. Much of the woodside vegetation has died back now. We're left with a lot of enchanter's nightshade. I find it rather less interesting to look at than some of the amazing spring and early summer flowers that we were looking at in the earlier videos from this woodland. Looks like these foxgloves may have just been parched out of existence. The weather has been so dry recently, and these rocky paths here can't hold much water. If you're enjoying this walk through the woods, please do comment to let me know what you think of what we've seen so far, and give me a like and a subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps to keep the channel growing and keep me going. This is the stairs where all the bluebells were in May and April, where I painted in my journal. Then came the foxgloves in June, and now the foxgloves are finished and we just have the remains of the bracken, the start of the blackberries, and just green. Now we have an almost perfect circle around me of wonderful green, a mature green of oak and ash. The birdsong is much quieter, and unfortunately that means that you hear more of the traffic from across the other side of the wooded valley. It's still peaceful though, and a very important reminder for you when you're nature journaling to always take a little bit of time to look up. I haven't journaled much, just written a little bit down today. If you didn't know, you can find my journal pages on my Patreon, and I post them up there twice a month, every single page that I've done. You can access these on my Patreon regardless of how much you pledge. It's actually kind of dark in the woods today, along this top part of the valley. The cloud's quite thick, I think that's what's causing it. It sort of seems a bit gloomy and muggy in here. The grasses are starting to grow tall on this side. We've got more grasses and sorrels and a few ferns. This is the area where in spring we had the wild orchids, the early purple orchids, violets and primroses. But now it's fairly uniform. We've got all of the bluebell pods all opened up, the seeds already dispersed, they're just going to die away now. The ends of the garlic mustard. But here and there, a splash of colour and a little bit of interest to be found. So what are you thinking about the video so far? I find the woods a little bit boring at this time of year. In fact, I'd even go as far as to say that July is my least favourite month in the woods. And honestly, I'd usually rather be down the beach. I think it's because we're sort of in the gap between all of the flowers and all of the berries, before the fungi, after the flowers, before the berries, and everything's kind of like just dying back a little bit. It's just green and brown in the woods at the moment, and without so much birdsong to listen to as well. Loads of young blackberries here. Last time I was here this was all in flower with bees all over it. And now it's all little green, hard blackberries. And the starts of some that are going red. This time next month there'll be a great blackberry crop here. And I've certainly noticed that there's a lot of berries this year. We also have some new fungi growing on this log. This wasn't here the last time that I came past. I'm not especially good at fungi identification, so this is one to look up when I get home. Hard to believe, but we've already got some hazelnuts down here. Fresh ones too. And bitten into by squirrels. I can't see many up on the tree though, or where they came from. It's a grey wagtail. I hope you've enjoyed this walk through Holyford Woods in July. I do find it a less interesting month than some of the other months. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure you do like and drop me a comment to let me know what you thought of it. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.